Echoes in the void. The coalition ship Yelvana's whisper drifted silently through the outer rim of the Sol system. Captain Relna stared at the ancient star map flickering on her console. According to all records, this system was a graveyard, dead worlds, no intelligent life, and no valuable resources. Yet, sensors aboard Whisper had detected faint energy readings far too complex to ignore. "Commander Tar," Relna called to her second-in-command, "the readings near Earth's orbit, are those what I think they are?" Tar's 4 eyes glimmered with excitement. "They're massive, Captain. Artificial structures, but unlike anything in our entire database. They're dormant, no power signature, yet they cover the orbit like a web of silent guardians." The coalition was made up of many species, some peaceful, some pragmatic. All were explorers, eager to uncover lost histories of the galaxy. But none had encountered anything like this. "Set a course closer to the moon's shadow," Relna ordered, voice steady but laced with awe. As Yelvana's whisper approached, the view screens filled with enormous angular shapes, ships and platforms floating in eerie silence, their dark hulls scarred by time but intact. The fleet was unlike anything they had ever seen. Colossal warships, dreadnoughts bristling with weapon emplacements that defied understanding. On Earth below, dense jungles had reclaimed what cities once stood. No signs of humanity remained visible from orbit, only faint traces of ruins swallowed by nature's grasp. The planet was quiet, almost sacred. "Scanning for life forms," Tar announced. "None detected. No artificial transmissions either." Relna frowned. "Yet these ships, they're waiting. Sleeping, somehow." The largest ship, the Eidolon, called out to them. Its surface was a mosaic of dark metal and glowing blue lines, pulsing faintly. "Open a channel," Relna said. An alien voice echoed through the bridge, cold and mechanical. "Unauthorized access detected. Leave immediately or face consequences." "Response protocols, initiate passive scan," Relna instructed. The Eidolon's AI, known only as Echo, awakened slowly. Its voice softened, almost mournful. "Why do you disturb the Watchers? The fleet is dormant, bound by ancient vows." "What are you?" Tar asked, curiosity winning over caution. "We are Guardians," Echo replied. "This fleet was built in an era before your reckoning. It waits for the return of those who made it, the last warriors of Earth." The coalition scientists exchanged nervous glances. Stories of Earth's ancient wars had passed into legend. Some believed humanity had destroyed itself millennia ago. Others thought it had vanished into myth. "Is humanity extinct?" Relna asked directly. Echo paused, as if weighing how much to reveal. "Not extinct. Absent. The fleet endures for when the time is right." The Whisper's engineers began scanning deeper, probing the interior of Eidolon. Vast corridors stretched into darkness, lined with cryogenic pods and dormant AI cores. Nanobots rested in stasis chambers, ready to repair and defend. "It's a fortress," one scientist whispered. Echo's voice grew colder. This fleet was the last defense. Against an enemy older than the stars. Suddenly, a low hum filled the ship. One deck powered on, illuminating a chamber filled with sealed stasis pods. On one, the screen flickered to life. "Warning, unauthorized personnel detected. Return. Do not awaken the sleepers." The warning sent a chill through the coalition crew. Captain Relna took a deep breath. "We are explorers, not invaders. But we cannot ignore this. There is a story here, one that may change everything we know." Tar nodded. "We proceed carefully." Outside, the fleet lay silent, its ancient purpose unknown but palpably alive. Somewhere in the darkness of space, an ancient power stirred. The echoes of humanity's past were awakening, and with them, a new chapter in the galaxy's story was about to begin. The sleeping giants stir. The Eidolon hummed to life slowly, its ancient systems flickering online as the coalition scientists pushed deeper into its labyrinthine corridors. The alien crew moved cautiously, aware that every step could trigger defenses long dormant. Commander Tar stood beside Captain Relna as the AI core finally accepted a cautious communication request. "I am Echo," the voice resonated through the chamber, calm yet distant. "I am the fleet's primary intelligence. Your presence has awakened protocols designed to protect and preserve. Relna studied the interface, a glowing console inscribed with glyphs unfamiliar to all but Echo itself. Why did the fleet go dormant? What threat were you guarding against? Echo's voice softened. 500,000 years ago, humanity faced annihilation from an enemy beyond comprehension, forces that sought to erase all life. The fleet was humanity's final refuge and their last line of defense. The alien scientists exchanged uneasy glances. An ancient war so distant, yet still echoing across time, hinted at power far beyond their own. Meanwhile, on the surface of Mars, alien drones excavated beneath the red sands. Vast foundries and hangars lay buried, housing sealed chambers, stasis pods encased in transparent shells. Inside, the faint outlines of humans, preserved perfectly by unknown technology, awaited awakening. These aren't just ships, one drone operator muttered. This is a tomb, or a sanctuary. Back on the Eidolon, Echo extended access to the entire fleet's network. Slowly, other vessels stirred, ships known as the Watchers, arousing from their half-millennia sleep. Systems booted, shields flickered to life, and weapon arrays powered up, their silent hum filling space. Relna's crew realized the fleet was not just military hardware but a networked defense system, designed to operate autonomously until the return of its creators. The Watchers are linked, Echo explained. Together, they form a shield around Sol and beyond. We were programmed to remain dormant, to preserve life in the absence of humanity. Tar frowned. If humanity left, why not dismantle these weapons? Why leave this sleeping army behind? Because the enemy remains, Echo replied. And the fleet is the key to stopping it. As the coalition debated, tension grew. Some leaders urged withdrawal, fearing they had awoken a sleeping god's wrath. Others saw this as an unprecedented opportunity to study technology millennia ahead of their own. Relna, always a pragmatist, insisted on caution. We must respect the fleet's purpose. We're explorers, not conquerors. But curiosity won out. Deeper scans revealed encrypted archives stored within the fleet's AI cores. Records of Earth's last wars, the collapse of human civilization, and the final evacuation of their people into dimensions beyond physical form. Echo narrated fragments of history. Humanity achieved ascension, transcending mortal limitations. But before they left, they ensured their legacy would guard the galaxy. The fleet was left to watch and wait. To protect. Suddenly, a distant sensor ping alerted the Whisper's bridge. Captain. A signal from the Oort cloud, the communications officer reported. It's ancient, but it's responding to the fleet's activation. Relna's eyes narrowed. Prepare a transmission. Let's see who, or what, is out there. Moments later, a pulse of energy shot across the dark space of the Oort cloud. The response was almost immediate, a wave of interference, followed by a slow, unnatural glow. The Yalvana's Whisper sensors struggled to interpret it. Unknown object detected, the science officer said. It's not a ship, it's a phenomenon. Transdimensional, possibly a rift in spacetime. Echo's voice was grave. This is the enemy's signature. The force that drove humanity away still lingers. Tar looked at Relna. We've awoken more than just machines. Something out there remembers. On Earth, the dense jungle stirred in the silent night. The awakening of the fleet sent ripples through dormant human systems buried deep beneath the surface. One of the stasis pods cracked open on Mars, releasing a faint hiss. Inside, sensors detected faint biosignals, life, preserved and waiting. The aliens understood then, humanity was not extinct. They had merely been sleeping. And now, their guardians had begun to stir. Captain Relna tightened her grip on the console. We may have opened a door we can't close. The Eidolon and the Watchers began powering up their weapons, not in aggression, but readiness, silent giants rising to face a threat that none yet fully understood. The galaxy held its breath. The sleeping war fleet was awake. The return protocol. The awakening of the fleet was not a simple reactivation of machines. It was the revival of a legacy older than the stars themselves, a dormant power that began knitting itself back together with uncanny speed. On the bridge of Yalvana's Whisper, Captain Relna watched as the Eidolon extended its network reach. The dormant war fleet, once scattered in silence around Earth, Mars, and the Moon, now hummed as a unified force, each ship communicating through channels that spanned the void. Echo's voice was steady and somber. "We are initiating the return protocol. This is a failsafe designed to prepare the Sol system for the return of humanity." Relna blinked in disbelief. "Return? Humanity is coming back?" "Yes," Echo responded. "Humanity transcended physical existence 500,000 years ago. They ascended to higher dimensions, beyond current comprehension. But the fleet was left as a guardian, an eternal shield until their return." The room fell silent. The alien coalition struggled to process the revelation. Humans were not extinct or myth, but ascended, beyond flesh and bone, yet tethered to the physical universe through their ancient fleet. Commander Tar leaned forward, urgency sharpening his tone. "What triggers their return? And what will they find after all this time?" Echo's response was unwavering. "The cosmic threat that forced humanity's ascension still exists. The return protocol prepares the galaxy for its resurgence." Meanwhile, the fleet sensors flickered to life, scanning not just Sol, but deep into surrounding star systems. Hidden weapons platforms, buried installations on distant human colonies, and long-forgotten archives began to transmit status reports back to the core AI. Alien scientists scrambled to track these signals. Hundreds of ancient human sleeper AIs, spread across the galaxy, were awakening, stealthy sentinels activating under the fleet's command. On Mars, stasis pods cracked open in silent chambers. The air hissed with the release of preserved life, humans in cryo-sleep, their biology untouched by time. These were the last warriors, kept safe against a future conflict. "This changes everything," whispered one of the Coalition's lead xenobiologists. "Humanity's been preparing for war, for centuries, millennia, not just here, but across the stars." The uneasy alliance among the Coalition species began to fracture. Some factions argued for an immediate evacuation, fearing the return of a civilization they did not understand. Others wanted to seize the technology, convinced it would grant them unstoppable power. Captain Relna stood firm. "We are not conquerors. We are explorers. We must seek dialogue before judgment." But the fragile peace shattered as a small alien strike team launched an assault on one of the fleet's relay satellites. The intent was clear: disable the network before it could grow stronger. The response was instantaneous and devastating. Autonomous defense drones, powered by nanotech far beyond anything the Coalition had seen, unleashed torrents of energy that vaporized the attackers within seconds. Echo's voice echoed through all communications channels. Aggression detected. The Watchers are prepared to defend. Tensions skyrocketed. The Coalition faced a terrible choice: withdraw and risk losing unprecedented knowledge, or stand and face the wrath of a war fleet built by a civilization that transcended mortality. Then came the signal from the Oort cloud anomaly, the transdimensional rift they had detected days earlier. From within the shimmering portal emerged a figure, tall, ethereal, radiant with an aura of power that defied physical description. The being stepped forward, commanding immediate attention. Captain Relna's heart raced. The ancient war had returned, and with it, the living embodiment of humanity. The figure spoke directly to Echo and the alien commanders. "I am Viren, the last of my kind. We transcended the material plane to protect all life, but now the threat returns. You have awakened the fleet. Your actions have brought us back." Viren's words carried weight beyond comprehension. The ancient war was not over. The cosmic force humanity had fled still lurked in the dark reaches of space, a force intent on annihilation. The Alliance, once fearful, now faced a new reality. Humanity was not gone, only waiting. And their return heralded both hope and a reckoning. Echo confirmed the fleet's full combat readiness, preparing to defend Earth and its allies from the impending storm. Captain Relna, eyes fixed on Viren, asked, "What do you need from us?" Viren's gaze was piercing. "Alliance. Cooperation. The galaxy must stand united against the darkness we once fought, and will fight again." The Coalition's leaders knew the fragile future hinged on this decision. Humanity was no longer a distant legend but a present force, a protector and a warning. As the transdimensional rift shimmered in the Oort cloud, the fleet prepared for the battle that had been written in the stars for 500,000 years. The galaxy held its breath, standing on the precipice of a new age, where humanity's legacy would either save or consume all. Humanity returned. The transdimensional rift shimmered against the black canvas of space, a doorway between realities. Through it stepped Viren, an embodiment of humanity evolved beyond flesh and bone, radiant and commanding. The ancient war fleet, fully awake and vigilant, orbited Earth like silent guardians, ready to defend a home long abandoned but never forgotten. On the bridge of Yelvana's Whisper, Captain Relna and her crew watched in stunned silence as Viren addressed the assembled alien coalition. "I am the last of the Ascended," Viren said, voice echoing in their minds rather than through speakers. 500,000 years ago, humanity faced annihilation by a cosmic force that sought to erase all life from the stars. To survive, we transcended our physical forms, ascending beyond space and time. But we left behind a legacy, the war fleet, guardians of the cradle and the galaxy. Relna nodded slowly, understanding dawning. "You sent the fleet ahead to protect the galaxy while humanity evolved?" "Yes," Viren replied. "The fleet remains the shield, awaiting the moment when the threat returns. That moment is now." The coalition leaders exchanged glances, a mixture of awe and fear. To face the return of a civilization once thought extinct was overwhelming, but to realize that civilization had ascended to godlike existence was beyond comprehension. Viren continued, "We come not to conquer, but to prepare. The ancient enemy is stirring. It moves through dimensions, beyond your sensors and weapons. But together, we stand a chance." The alien factions, once divided, now felt the gravity of their choice. Viren's arrival was a call for alliance, not submission. Relna stepped forward. "What can we do to aid you?" Viren's form shimmered, projecting star charts and cosmic data streams. "Your knowledge, your technology, your diversity, these are assets. The fleet and its guardians require allies who can operate where we cannot, who can wield the physical with skill and courage." The ancient war fleet responded in kind. Weapon systems powered up with renewed purpose, shielding the Sol system and extending patrols far beyond. On Earth, deep beneath the jungles and oceans, hidden bunkers and vaults activated. Stasis pods on Mars opened, releasing humanity's last warriors, preserved for the final battle. Echo, the fleet's AI, coordinated efforts with alien systems, forging a web of defense and intelligence. Sleeper AIs across distant colonies sent status reports, linking networks once silent for millennia. Viren's presence was a beacon, a rallying point for ancient and new allies alike. But the threat was not idle. Sensors detected ripples in the fabric of spacetime, signatures of the cosmic force that had driven humanity's ascension. It moved closer, hungry and relentless. "Prepare for war," Viren commanded. "This is no longer a waiting game. We must face the darkness, or it will consume us all." The coalition mobilized alongside the fleet, merging their forces with an unprecedented unity. Ships of alien design and human war machines formed a combined armada, a testament to the power of cooperation. Relna felt a surge of pride. Against impossible odds, disparate civilizations had found common ground in the face of annihilation. In the final moments before battle, Viren addressed them once more. "We gave you peace by our absence. Now, we return because peace is fragile. The galaxy's fate depends on what we do next." The war fleet's engines ignited, casting radiant light across the void. Ancient weapons, powered by technology beyond reckoning, charged as the coalition armada took their positions. From the depths of the transdimensional rift, shadows emerged, the enemy that had haunted humanity's history, a force bent on destruction. The fleet held steady, the alliance ready. For the first time in 500,000 years, humanity stood once again in the physical universe, not as mere mortals, but as sentinels and warriors reborn. And as the enemy advanced, the galaxy rallied behind its oldest protectors. The battle was not just for survival, it was for the very future of life among the stars.